He was a mainstay actor and cowboy on the silver screen. This actor went to the great lengths to make his characters look realistic and even adventurous on the big screen, working with legendary directors to legendary actors to become one of the most known celebrities and actors of all time, spending at least 50 years in cinema to television and was nicknamed the Duke. This is John Wayne, and this is his basic biography. Early life. Marion Robert Morrison, the real name of John Wayne, was born on the 26th of May 1907 in Iowa, USA. He was born to a father who had a pharmaceutical business and a mother who was a homemaker. They all lived in Iowa till the mid 1910s, where he would move to California and attend the rest of his education in that state. John Wayne would attend the Glendale Union High School, where he excelled in sports and his studies at a young age, with aspiration to go on to university with a scholarship. In order to make enough money for his scholarship or go further with his education, the young John Wayne would be able to work odd jobs to support himself for his education. His parents broke up before he attended university and luckily received an American football scholarship within the University of Southern California during the 1920s. Still working in odd jobs just to pay for his tuition for being a football star for the university, and even given the nickname Duke, that would be stuck with him the rest of his life. Unfortunately, John Wayne would be involved in a serious injury which would result to him losing his winning streak as an American football star or a football player, and now losing his scholarship to his funding being cut by the university. This meant John Wayne would change his career choice and started to work in more odd jobs just to get on Hollywood sets. He would meet his hero in real life, called Tom Mix, and sometimes watch his movies in cinema, and also work with him on stage and even on behind the scenes on most of his films. Acting career. From working backstage of most Hollywood sets for the Western genre film, John Wayne would meet Tom Mix and start working with him on the silver screen. Due to Tom Mix being the number one cowboy actor at the time, John Wayne was far from it, with his roles being smaller, and he would be upgraded from prop boy to set worker to a Hollywood actor, with bit roles on some of the movies with Tom Mix and other Hollywood actors or actresses during the late 1920s. John Wayne had been able to work on bigger roles in the 1930s with his first feature film as a starring actor in the movie The Big Trail in 1930. He would star alongside with acting chums such as Tyrone Power Sr. and director Rahul Welsh. This movie was based on the Oregon Trail in the 1800s and during the Manifest Destiny era. Later in the same decade of the 1930s and even to the 1940s, John Wayne would star and even be an actor in Hollywood, getting top billings for B movies instead of the traditional A movies. His next roles would fluctuate from playing cowboys to American football players and even now war heroes. This was due to his age of being a young adult in his teens in the early 20s, or to his early 20s. He would star in movies such as Riders of Destiny in 1933, where he also sang in the movie, The Lucky Texan in 1934, and ending the decade with his first hit movie, Stagecoach, in 1939. He would be known as another cowboy king straight after Tom Mix, and it looked like John Wayne would contribute to his legacy. The legendary cowboy, the young star in town from the upgraded Western genre was John Wayne. as he managed to learn from the great Tom Mix by using his style of acting with some real life aspects for his characters. John Wayne would be the next cowboy star or hero of the West. Yet he would star in other movies not related to his trademark genre. John Wayne would grow older on the big screen and even star in movies based on the current events of World War II. He was able to swap the Smith & Wesson revolver to an Enfield rifle or an army issued handgun in the new list of movies coming his way. In the 1940s, when World War II was in full swing, John Wayne played both the war hero and the hero of the West, which was quite a juggling act for the young actor or the young star who was turning into an older gentleman. John Wayne himself would help the United States by enlisting in the United States Army, and even able to serve during the war, and while still acting in movies at the same time. Most of his movies would change from monochrome color, which is black and white, to Technicolor, depending on the studios who were able to employ him as an actor, as this legendary hero of the West would become a big star. He would star in war films such as Reunion in France in 1942, Back to Bataan in 1945, and then even Sands of Iwo Jima in 1949. Some war films were set after the events of the war, with Sands of Iwo Jima being released 4 years after the war had ended, and even then in the 1950s and even 1960s, where he became a big hit. Sometimes starring in western films in the 1940s as well, with movies such as The Old California in 1942, Tall in the Saddles in 1944, and then starring in two big hit Western movies after the war, Red River in 1948 to Fort Apache in the same year. Personal life and final years. John Wayne would marry 3 times in his life. First wife was Josephine Sands, with the relationship lasting from 1933 to 1945. Second wife was Esperanza Bauer from 1946 to 1954, and his final wife was Pilar Palais from 1954 to 1973. He would have 7 children that would also make it to Hollywood. John Wayne was able to be active in politics by supporting the Republican Party and having a chance to communicate with presidents from both parties during his time as a Hollywood actor. During the 1950s, he still starred in Western films that's now being recognized and even um, now being known as a legendary actor. Movies such as Rio Grande in 1950, Rio Bravo in 1959, and The Searchers in 1956, which have now became 3 of his greatest works as a Hollywood actor, even starring in another war film called Operation Pacific in 1951. However, he starred in a historical drama called The Conqueror in 1956. He would star and even play Genghis Khan, and this film was flopped in the cinema. The 1960s, however, would see him continue his success as a war hero and a cowboy with great hit films and memorable appearances. The Alamo in 1960, where he played David Crockett, El Dorado in 1966, co-star with Robert Mitchum, and then True Grit in 1969. Yet, starring in war films from The Longest Day in 1962 to The Green Berets in 1968. John Wayne was able to play various genres and play in various characters in various genres, and even this lasted from the 1960s to the 1970s, sometimes reprising his role in previous films and eventually finally appearing in a film called The Shootist in 1976. Even he was able to appear on television and radio in his long 50-year career, with a chance to direct and produce in some of these films in Hollywood. Legacy and death. The man who was the hero of the West, John Wayne, passed away from cancer on the 11th of June 1977 at the age of 72 in Los Angeles, California. He was remembered by many stars and world leaders as a hero, and even a living legend such as Clint Eastwood was able to meet this legend in real life, and even have a mutual agreement that Tom Mix were their inspiration onto the silver screen. John Wayne would be another leading man that would win multiple awards for his role as Rooster Cogburn in True Grit, and then a Golden Globe for the same role. He was able to still influence Clint Eastwood and other actors who lived after him, becoming great legends. Sometimes modern actors could be used in his acting, could be using his acting styles in westerns. Modern actors such as Russell Crowe, Jeff Bridges, and even Christian Bale would have some similarities when they played western characters. He would be nominated after his death and even would be remembered throughout the world in various museums to foundations with his name on by naming his own foundation honoring him, and even his movies are shown on televisions around the around the world in the modern era. Now, thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't done so. My name is Suzuki Cookie, and thank you for watching.